Hello. I could eat about 1.5 million of these.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Welcome to the It's a Drama podcast.
Daddy, I love him.
My mother thanks you.
If you can't say something nice.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to It's a Drama podcast. I am Liz.
And I'm Sonny.
And today we're here to talk about the culture of Japan. Oh, Sonny, you'll like this one because you love Japan.
Favourite country other than New Zealand.
Was it your favourite country?
Favourite country to visit, yeah.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, I'm sure you do, but we travelled the world for a year with our family, and Japan was up there amongst the
Favourites.
Yeah. I reckon you and...
Tessa?
No, you and, Brian.
Sandman, Brian, my dad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was your favourite place.
Yeah, it was, because it was so much like New Zealand.
Really? Is that why you liked it?
Yeah, because it was just, it's in Asia, and it's got all the Asian feel, the buildings and the food, but it's also got scenery similar to New Zealand, and a temperature similar to New Zealand, and it's quiet and peaceful, and everyone's just nice and easy, it's just, obviously Japan hasn't got the best history surrounding kindness because of the whole samurai and, cutting their heads off if you don't bow to them and stuff like that. And
that's fair enough.
Them, especially in World War II and World War One. But yeah, other than that, it was a really nice place to visit, Yeah.
Different than the English royalty, really.
Yeah, the English royalty, Brian just said. We don't know about that,
the voice from the corner.
We won't be talking about that. But
okay.
French for the guillotines.
Yeah, French for the
guillotines, yeah.
Marie Antoinette and all that. Anyway, Sonny, what I think we need to talk about is the French, the little Japanese ways that you might not know about, that when you go to Japan, just be aware of these things. We didn't know any of them.
Well,
you
nice
knew some.
Etiquette, yeah.
You knew some of them, didn't you? Because you've read a lot of Japanese books and things like that.
Taking your shoes off before you go in the house.
So how should we do it then? Should we just do...
Well, we've got little lists that we printed off.
I've got to say, Sonny, when I asked you to print these lists off, you've printed these lists off, and don't let Brian see how much... This would have just taken up so much ink.
No, because there was an option to print it in colour, and I printed it in black and white.
Oh, okay. All right then. So don't say anything, Brian. Go on then. So what was your first thing that you noticed in Japan that you thought, oh God, I didn't know about that. That's embarrassing.
Maybe being so helpful, having to help out with everything, because we did, didn't we? We had turned up and we had to help out with all the dishes and stuff. I know that's normal, but it almost just seems like it's a very everybody help out kind of thing.
Let's just give a little bit of a backstory. We went to Japan for 28 days, and apart from a couple of nights where we went in an Airbnb, we couch surfed all around Japan. Of course you would be expected to help out.
Yeah, I know, but it just seemed like it was very, not like, oh, can you please help out? It was just like, you're helping out.
Yeah.
It was just very straightforward. You're helping out, not like, oh, it'd be great if you helped us with the dishes. It was just like, okay, you're helping with the dishes now.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
But do you think that's because they were speaking in broken English, so it was like... So, do you remember that house we went to, just to give you an example? I think it was the first couch surf we went to.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were all sitting cross-legged on the floor, weren't we? And on that very, very low table. And they had two very small children.
Yeah.
And we shared a dinner, which was lovely, wasn't it?
What was it? But it was nice, yeah.
Yeah. And literally, the chopsticks went down, and he said, "Now you do the dishes."
And he pulled
Is that
out
what
his
you're
beer.
talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It was a little bit like, oh, okay. So, all right then.
We'll help out.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe, is that like an abruptness or just directness?
It is just, maybe it was just us or that family, but it was abrupt, It was just like, oh, okay. Okay.
Do you remember the next morning, the lady said, oh, what are you going to do for breakfast? No, what are you going to do for lunch? And she showed you how to take all the leftover rice from the dinner the night before. Do you remember?
Yeah, make little rice balls that we never ate.
We didn't eat them, no, because...
Don't want rice for breakfast.
Well, you wanted a McDonald's, but I didn't want to tell the lady
didn't
that, did I?
want
Yes, you did.
McDonald's.
You made me cycle all the way across the city.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
To go to McDonald's.
Yeah, wow.
But let's pretend that we are the sort of family that do eat the Japanese rice balls that you made.
Yeah.
How nice was that, Sonny?
Yeah, give us food for free.
Yeah, and well, more importantly, now you know how to make Japanese rice balls.
But you do need the sticky rice.
Yeah.
And the little black seeds that were in it as well.
Yeah. So, okay, let's just start off
Go
then.
to our list?
Yeah, let's go to our list. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, so coming in at, it says number 8, but the first on our list.
Number 1, yeah.
Number 1 is bathroom slippers. So this says that Japanese businesses such as restaurants require customers to remove their shoes if they have traditional
Just
jandals.
say it in your own words, Sonny.
And I'm just reading off what's on the list. And it says this business will provide bathroom slippers for use in their washrooms. So, and it's easy enough to forget to take off these as you leave the bathroom. So we bought. No, we didn't. Who did we steal? Where did we steal them from?
Sonny, do you mind?
Not steal. It was from like an airline or a train or
What are you
somewhere.
talking about?
Those little bathroom slippers that you said, oh, these are comfy. I'm taking these with me.
Yeah, no, Sonny, don't lie, Sonny.
It's not a lie.
You're getting confused, Sonny. No, listen.
It was from somewhere. It was they were in a little plastic bag, and you open the bag. It was the airline.
Oh, okay. So it might have been the
It
airline.
was the airline.
Yeah. Oh, that's not
I was gonna
stealing.
say- yeah, but it's
They
like,
give them to you.
Yeah, but you think you're supposed to hand them back at the end, aren't you?
No, who's going to want that? Oh, right.
But anyway.
No, but we did go to when you go to Japan, because I reckon you're going to go to Japan, go to the 100 yen shop. That's where we bought the slippers from. Remember, we all had a pair. You're getting confused because I took them to Croatia. I wouldn't take them off in the car because it was like, oh, these are my comfiest slippers ever. Yeah, and you buy those day slippers. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And we all got a pair, didn't we?
Yeah, but you did have to wear different shoes in the bathroom.
That's right.
Yeah.
So don't make the mistake of that.
Yeah, don't make the mistake of taking your normal shoes into the bathroom and taking your bathroom shoes into the normal house or
And they found that
restaurant.
hilarious, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because I think one of us, I can't remember who it was, wore our bathroom slippers. When I say bathroom, it's the toilet, isn't it? It's just when you
The
go
washroom.
to the loo. Yeah. Which really, you know what? Since I've been to Japan, it makes me feel a bit funny now when I think about people who wear their outside shoes that they've been walking around the streets in, all that dog muck and soil.
Often get dog muck on your shoes and drape it into the bathroom.
Well, no, Sonny, but then it's dirt, isn't it? You know, and then you walk it. Not only do you, this is why I go mad at you, I'll take your shoes off. Not only do you walk it into the house, but you then tend to go into the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because do you take your shoes off when you're in the bathroom?
Every time I walk into the bathroom with my shoes on.
Don't you?
No.
What, say, if you were just running in to get the hairbrush out or something?
Well, I might, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. See? And that's what I like about Japan is it's clean, isn't
Very
it?
clean, very
so
sterile.
hygienic, and it's just, it makes sense. Everything they do makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. When you're there, it does make sense, yeah.
What do you mean?
Because everyone's doing it. But if you're in India and you're doing it, it's like, well, this doesn't really make sense. You know? Or if in England, you know, if we turned up at our auntie's house and said, hang on, I'm just going to the bathroom, let me put my slippers on. They'd be like, what are you doing?
Hang on, I'll just get those slippers I nicked. I'm just going to put them on to go for a wee.
Get my airline slippers out, those yellow little slippers.
Oh, yeah, that was it. They were yellow. You've got such a good memory.
Because some
How did
things
you
just stick
remember
like
that?
that. Because it would just always remember you wearing those little mucky yellow slippers everywhere. I'm taking these off. Ooh.
Thank you for that, Sonny. Right, my one then. So it is eating directly. You should never eat directly from common
dishes.
It is inappropriate to eat directly from common dishes.
Yeah, so that's, to put that into context, it's how the Japanese would do it is there'd be bowls of food and then you'd have your own bowl. So bowls of food in the middle of the table and then you'd take stuff out of the bowl and put it in your bowl and then eat it. Not like take it out of the bowl, put it in your mouth. You know, it would be take it out of the bowl, put it in a bowl and then eat it. You'd have to, like, almost like constantly dishing yourself up while you're eating.
Yeah. And the other thing as well, do you remember when we stayed with Fumio and his wife told us that if someone is taking something out of the common dish in the middle of the table, you don't then
Yeah,
start
you
to
just
help
wait.
yourself. You have to wait until they've finished. And
Which is nice.
It is
Because it's
nice.
nice, just like a respectful way of letting someone get their food.
Yeah.
And you don't get that feeling of you're double dipping or anything, you know?
No, no.
If you're eating straight out the bowl in the middle of the table, it's a bit weird.
But one of our favourite family dishes, though, Sonny,
It's
is
chicken in the pan, is
Yeah.
you're going to say. Yeah. Because I was thinking about that as well. Where
Yeah.
you get your bread and you put it in the sauce in the middle and then eat it and take the potatoes out and,
Yeah.
you know.
So nice big roasting tin in the middle of the table, chicken, garlic, lemon. Oh, God.
Getting hungry now.
Sounds so nice.
Potatoes.
Yeah, crispy
bit of,
potatoes. And you each have a piece of bread and you just pick from it.
Yeah.
And I think that's, on the opposite side of that, I think that's a really nice coming together thing to do as a family, you know?
Yeah, it is. But they don't do that, do they?
No,
Because
they
they're just like, eat from your own
Yeah.
common dishes.
All right, then, so that was mine. Your one then?
Is again with the food theme is playing with chopsticks. It says chopsticks should be used as little as possible.
You gotta move away from
I'm
your microphone.
getting-
Back for your microphone.
Oh, why does it sound loud?
It's getting louder.
Okay, well, it says chopsticks should be used as little as possible. This is to say that people avoid using them for anything other than eating. This includes using them to point at things or hovering them over dishes as you consider to eat.
I think I did that.
Chopsticks hold your saliva on the end, so they should be flung around in the air as little as possible.
Isn't that common sense, though?
Yeah, I suppose it is, but then again, it's different because with a knife and fork, maybe with a knife, pretend you've got a sword or something. Because sometimes you just find yourself twiddling your knife and fork, especially with chopsticks. You find yourself sitting there.
Do you like to have a
What
little
you keep
twiddle,
doing there?
Sonny?
I was saying they got to keep getting.
Yeah, just
signal
sit
to
back,
them.
yeah.
Just
That's it.
all right, okay. So. You
So
know,
don't twiddle your
you're
chopsticks.
holding your chopsticks, and you tend to, do that thing where you close them together and make the ticking sound, and oh, look, I can use my chopsticks, and you know what I mean. And that's obviously
Ooh,
disrespectful.
so what a big boy I am.
Look at me, I could use them.
Who's this?
But normally, you put them down on the table, and that's where you leave them, and then when you want to use them, you pick them up and use them, and then put them back down.
What's that thing again about where you put your chopsticks and it's the
So
sign?
I read a book where if you put your chopsticks in the food and leave them sticking in the food, it's either means someone's died or you're at a funeral or something like
okay.
that. And then it's disrespectful to point them at people.
Yep.
Because it's offensive.
But like I say, but then again, I was going to say you would never point your knife and fork at people. But do you know what? Sometimes when you see people like angry businessmen have it, or women, because we're not sexist, having like a conversation in a restaurant or something, and they're like, no, no. And they're like, they do pick up their knives and forks and they're like, when they get
Even if you're
passionate.
gesturing, if you go like, oh yeah, and you're eating and you're like, oh, you can't see me, you're eating, and you go, oh yeah, this guy gets it, and you gesture with your
and
knife.
you
And it's
gesture.
like,
So you never ever do that with your chopsticks.
never do that with your chopsticks.
No,
So
especially not since they've got saliva on the end of them.
that's- fling them around, little
Wouldn't be
droplets
very
of
nice,
saliva.
would it? All right then, moving on. Bathing dirty.
Ooh.
Yeah. In Japan, bathing, hang on, I've got this tiny writing, is seen as a relaxing leisure activity rather than an act of cleansing the body. People something, it's cut off with,
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway,
Cleansing yourself.
Yes.
And
what I was
being
surpri-
dirty.
Yeah, and what I was surprised about when we stayed with Sue and Fumio,
No, Sue and Hero.
yeah, they wouldn't let us sit down for dinner. Well, no, hang on, that's wrong.
They wouldn't let us get in the onsen bath
Yeah.
without showering first.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that though. Yeah, she did say, didn't she? She said, "Go and get the shower first."
Yeah, get in the shower
But what
before
I'm
you get in the
saying
bath.
is, it was almost like, do you remember? It was so lovely because, like, she'd say, "And now the onsen," and it was
Onsen, please.
onsen, please. Yeah. See, going back to that thing of like direct onsen,
Yeah.
please, and you knew that you had to go and get in the
Yeah,
bath.
you did, yeah.
Oh, I'd love that now.
What,
Imagine-
the nice hot bath? Because it was not heated. It was the volcanic water, so it was all naturally hot water.
And it was just constantly coming out of the
Flowing.
tap, so it was always clean, wasn't it?
Was it constantly?
Yeah, it was. It was just very slowly spilling over, was it or
The
not?
whole room was designed to.
Yeah, the whole room was designed to take the water.
Mm.
Yeah, and I love that. I really loved
Yeah,
it.
because a lot of people, especially when they go to swimming pools, they don't shower first before they go in. They just take their clothes off and jump in the pool. And, that's a bit like... I used to do that as a kid, but now you're looking back at it and you're like... Even though I look back on swimming pools now, I'm like, why would anyone ever swim in a public
Sonny,
swimming
don't be
pool?
like that. Don't
Yeah,
be
but
one of
why
those
would anybody
people.
swim in a public swim when you
Because
think
it's
about
fun.
it? But it's not fun when you start to think about everything in there. I was having this conversation with my coworker the other yesterday, and we were saying, "Oh, how gross is it? You know, that you go to a public swimming pool with kids swimming around. You know,
Yeah, I know,
weeing
but
in the water.
yeah, I know, but they've got
And,
things to chemicals, Sonny,
Yeah.
to take that out.
But like,
I know, but
does
no.
it? Like, you know,
Of course it does.
And then you just say, "Oh yeah, you feel a bit sick because you've swallowed too much pool water," and you're trying to think, "Oh."
Oh, I know, but don't be like that because I
But
can't
anyway.
be doing with people who won't go in a public bath because of the hygiene things.
Yeah.
I know, but no. Well, it's up to you. But
Yeah. They don't
But
rarely
you're
saw
not going
you
to grow up
swimming
to
in the
be one
aquatic
of these
centre.
men that, like, you know, oh, I've got to wipe the door
Maybe
handle
I'll just move to
before-
Japan.
Yeah, wipe the door handle before I open it. And yeah, but they hold like a tissue on the door handle, and you know, like, oh, I can't touch the door handle. Someone's just wiped their bum, and they might put germs on it. All right, quickly then. Come on,
You know,
moving on.
Guess what the dirtiest surface is? What's dirtier than like a toilet seat?
I know this. I know the answer to this.
What is it?
Is it the chopping board?
No, it's your phone screen. You got it right. The man in the corner.
Oh,
Yes, your phone screen is dirtier than a toilet seat and toilet handle and
What
stuff
have
like
you
that.
been doing with your phone?
yeah.
Well, that's the thing
exactly.
because you've got bacteria in your hands and stuff. You know.
I'm glad
dirty
I'm not
everywhere.
on my phone very often.
Still, and that's when it's like when you go and think you pick up people's phones.
I never
That's
pick
like,
anyone's phone up though. Why would you pick up?
You pick up Dave's phone, Tessa's phone. Get off your phone. Give me that.
I'm having that.
Yeah, right. This is going in the cupboard. So anyway, going back
All
to
right
the
then. Next one then,
cleansing.
Sonny.
So I've got a few here. I'm just trying to think of ones that I can relate to. Oh, there's another one about chopsticks.
Yeah, it's got to be something that.
Eager chopsticks. This one says. This one says if someone is picking up something from a common dish, give them space.
Yeah,
It's
that's what we
bad
just
form for
talked
two
about.
people with the same dish. All right, so that's not.
Yeah.
For some reason, they've put the same thing on the same list twice. So direct speech. The Japanese are generally indirect about uncomfortable topics and avoid conflict where possible.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Direct speech and talking to someone in a way that might embarrass them is a bad idea. The Japanese tend to drop subtle hints about it rather than direct, bold statements. The ability to read such hints is an important social skill in Japan. So that's like, yeah, because it was, when you think about it, there wasn't lots of displays of emotion, was there? Like in Japan, like you'd never
I'm just trying to think. Did we get close to someone enough to talk to them
have deep.
about a deep thing?
No, probably the closest family we got to was Mana's family. When they took us to the restaurant and they started calling him, you know, my dad, George Clooney.
Yeah.
And that was probably the jokiest time we ever got.
And also, what about when Sue? She was quite an old lady, and she started talking to us about her husband's depression.
Alcohol problem as well.
And alcohol, wasn't it? Yeah. So I'm just trying to think, did she must have found that hard to talk to us about that. I think she was like an English teacher or something at school, and maybe she was used to...
Maybe it doesn't apply so much to us, but I know that it does because you can almost feel it, that they're very closed people. Like,
definitely.
You don't feel like you could sit down with anyone we stayed with. I know that you can say that because you didn't really know them. But then again, probably the most open person we ever stayed with was the midwife.
Yeah.
You know her?
Yeah.
She was very open with us.
She was lovely.
But
I suppose maybe having a job as... She was very different. She was almost...
wasn't Japanese, yeah.
Did you think that?
She didn't really look Japanese either because she was so... She was like
lovely.
rather like, you know, big and bouncy, and it was just like,
Yeah.
she felt like almost like a Western mother rather than a Japanese
So what it
mother.
was is we stayed, like I say, we couch surfed, and do you know what? And this is so bad, I cannot remember her name. Can you remember her name?
No. But then again, we stayed with so many people.
I know we did. We stayed with lots. Anyway, so this lady, what it was is she ran a house. She owned a house that she...
Midwifery or whatever they call it.
No, she opened it up to women who had just had a baby,
Yeah.
you know, for like the first 2 or 3 weeks after you've just had a baby. I'm not sure if it wasn't for...
Abusive.
No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was abusive, no. I think it was more like a private rest home for women who had just had a baby and they wanted to get away from the rest of the family and come there and recoup.
Yeah.
And do you remember, it was just like, I don't know if you'll feel the same because you're not a woman and you haven't had a baby, but it was really, really quiet.
Yeah, it was.
And
Quiet,
it was
comfortable,
warm
cool.
and cozy and soft, wasn't it? And the carpets were soft and
Clean as well.
Yeah,
But that was
really,
everywhere.
really quick clean, and the bathrooms were clean. And I'll never forget, I'll put the picture actually on because it's such a funny picture. We walked into the bedroom where we were staying, and Tessa just looked at the bed, and do you remember, she star jumped onto the bed.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, this is bliss. She just jumped onto the bed. And then the next morning we went down, and there was this tiny little newborn baby.
Yeah.
Oh, and she was bathing him, and it was just like, oh, do you want to hold the baby? And that was gorgeous.
Yeah.
But you're right. No, she was like, I remember sitting and having wine with her, and she was like quite open, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was, yeah. Yeah.
But as a whole, then, yeah, Japanese people like to keep themselves to themselves.
Yeah, well, they do and they don't. They just like to avoid conversations that might go awkward, I suppose.
This is nice tea that I'm drinking, by the way.
It is, yeah.
Chai vanilla.
Sumio.
Oh, her name was Sumio, that was it.
Right, so it's your turn now.
Okay,
You've
sorry,
got
I've
your
just eaten a
list.
chocolate.
Almond.
My next one is honking. Due to its lack of space, it is common for cars in Japan to block busy roads to quickly perform errands or something else. Japanese drivers are remarkably patient, Brian. We were talking about this in a private conversation. You couldn't live in Japan, could you? No, you couldn't.
Talking directly to me?
Yes, I am. No, Japanese drivers. Yeah, but can you imagine Brian living in Japan and someone parks in the middle of the road to nip out and do an errand, and
Oh,
you're
what's this,
stuck
then?
behind them?
It's that silly Billy going.
Yeah, you'd just be like, "Come on, mate." Boop, boop.
Brian, stop it. I'm not being funny. Let's look at him.
So anyway, listen. They resist the urge to honk
Their
out.
horn.
No, it doesn't say their
Yeah,
horn.
but still, you don't have to keep saying honk, do you? To say honk the horn.
They resist the urge to honk out of irritation, meaning what lovely people they are. They don't care if you've just nipped in to get a couple of sushi rolls. They don't care about that. They're not going to honk.
No.
Are
no.
they?
Well, I didn't hear one horn when we were
You didn't hear one what?
Horn. On honk. Barely heard one honk when we were over there. There's a lot of honking in India, though.
And there's an awful lot of honking in India, isn't there?
Yeah.
But no, you're right. No honking.
No.
So, brief honks are most often used in friendly gestures.
Yeah.
Such as warning someone that their lights are on. So say if you left your lights on, it might just be a hung hung. You've left your lights on. All right then, so moving on then.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
next thing on the list. So
I'm just
no
glad he never
honking
got
horns.
the chance to drive when he was in Japan, because it would have just, No, I really am. I'm really glad, because can you imagine? It would have just ruined it for me, to be honest.
Stomach clenching.
Yeah, it would.
So,
You got another one? Oh, Sonny, say about the affection thing.
oh yeah. What? Oh,
Didn't you say that-
touch?
Yeah.
Yeah, so touch. So the Japanese don't use physical touch, such as hugs and backslapping, much, and are generally uncomfortable with gestures from friends. Lovers also tend to avoid physical intimacy in public places. Exceptions exist, and some people are open to hugs, but the default assumption should be that people aren't into it.
But you know what, Sonny? I'm gonna say that's wrong, because
Oh, really?
yeah, because do you remember Manna's dad?
Yes.
So we stayed with Manna, who was like 18 we couch surfed with her and her
21.
family. She was 21, was she? She looked about 18 though, didn't she? She had a very young face. And we couch surfed with her family, and her mum and dad, Brian got really close to her dad. They actually swapped rugby shirts on the last night, didn't they?
Yeah.
And that surprised me, because they both whipped their shirts off. And they're both standing there naked from the waist upward, weren't they, though, Sonny? Do you remember?
No,
Yes,
yeah,
you
I know.
do.
Remember, they weren't naked. They just had a top off.
Yeah, well, that's naked.
All right, so they swapped their shirts.
Yeah, they took.
Yeah.
They both.
He was a
had-
bit drunk though, wasn't he, the dad?
Well, our dad always, your dad always
Both
does.
of them.
Yeah, he was a little bit drunk.
Because we'd been to a sake bar.
Yeah, we had. But you think about it. He was a Japanese man. He didn't speak. He spoke very, very, very little English, didn't he?
But he did speak good English though, because you could
No,
still
he
talk
didn't.
to him almost.
No, it was almost like, you go here. You know, it was almost like very. You couldn't have a proper conversation.
Yeah.
But he did point at Brian's shirt, his New Zealand rugby shirt, and like point to his and say, "You give, we swap." And so you think about it. We're stood in someone's house in Japan, and he took his shirt off. He's standing there with no shirt on.
Yeah.
So that was quite open. And what about when we came to say goodbye and he started crying? He didn't have
Did
a
he
drink
start
then.
crying?
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
wow.
They were all hugging as well.
Yeah, we were all hugging and I love.
But you never hugged Fumio. Think about that. Or Hiro or Sue, you never hugged them.
Yeah, but they were very old, so
Yeah.
that I think especially old Japanese people would have that tradition, and it's almost like that's
I can't remember
all
who it
they've
was.
ever
We
known.
hugged someone and we felt like they were awkward. And you knew that they were awkward, but I can't remember who it was.
But anyway, going back to Mana's dad.
Yeah. So you think that one's untrue then, the one about the touching?
It's probably not untrue because when you think about it, I don't remember seeing many Japanese people
in public holding hands or
yeah,
anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sitting on the bench having a little kiss and
Yeah.
having a kiss while they waited for their honkers.
All right, next one then.
That's all I've got.
Oh, that's all we've got.
Yeah.
All right. So that's our thing. And there's another one that says direct speech. Oh, we've already done that one, haven't we?
Yeah.
And then there's this one about cheers, drinking before kanpai. The Japanese word for cheers is considered self-centered and undisciplined. When drinking in a group, people will wait for all drinks to arrive for a round of cheers. So
Oh,
basically
quite
the same for
right.
us then, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So, I think it's just all of these things are based around respect for yourself and for other people.
Yeah, me too.
And that's the big thing, isn't it? Respect and peacefulness and...
What about the toilet seats that play music when you go to the toilet?
Yeah, but that's the toilet.
Yeah,
seats
but that's,
that play
again,
music.
respect for yourself, self-respect, because it's just like,
Clean.
you just don't want people to hear.
I know, because when you're on the loo, you can press a little button and it plays music, so
Yeah.
people can't hear what you're doing in the loo.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there with your filthy covered phone screen scrolling through, and you can just have a little bit of music
Yeah.
while you're in there,
Right,
Sonny.
yeah.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about as well, just quickly, was no, hang on, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, no, it's this is a really important one. Is the Japanese people, you should never empty your plate in Japan. You should never completely empty your plate, because
Okay.
if you're with a host, that says to them that you're still hungry, and they will keep bringing food out. And when I read that, it made me remember what it was like. We were taken to this really lovely restaurant by the same gentleman that they swapped the shirts with. He was just, what was he called? Hero.
He was Hero.
Was he called Hero as well?
Hiro.
Okay, and he was so nice. He was so nice. This is why, when people say, "Oh, why would you couch surf?" It's just like, why would you not? Especially in Japan. The people that we met, the stories that we've got.
We never would have gone, no, that place was there.
Never. No.
No.
We wouldn't have got to eat
We wouldn't have
horse
been able
meat.
to order either.
Would we, Sonny?
No, we wouldn't have been eaten raw horse meat.
No. And lots of other things. But going back to that bar, do you remember that? I remember the first plate they brought out, and it was just like this beautiful piece of steak sliced up. And I remember thinking, oh no, is that it? Because I knew you'd be hungry. And they just shared it out and chatted and drank their sake, and then another plate came out and another plate came out, and it just kept coming and coming, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember someone it was actually on my blog, actually, they commented and said, don't ever finish what's on your plate, because, the Japanese people will take this as meaning that you're still hungry and that they haven't been a good enough host to you. So just leave something on your plate and say, that's enough, thank you. Thank you very much, that was lovely. Anything else, Sonny?
No, I think that's about it.
Would you like to go back to Japan?
Yes, very much. So I'd like to go back to Japan.
What did you like best about it?
Again, like I've already said, it was peaceful, calm, quiet. cool, beautiful, nice food, nice people, easy place to get around because of all the trains and stuff. You know, it was just nice all around.
I'd love you to go back and tell us and like do it as a backpacking teenager, you know, and like go and stay in hostels and go to, you know, like be in like the middle of it in Tokyo, because you sort of saw it as a family. We saw it as more as with the locals, didn't we, on the outside? And, you know, I know we went to Tokyo and everything, but we did it more as in with the Japanese people. But I would really love for you to go and tell me what it was like just sleeping in one of those capsules in a hostel or something like that. So you'll have to do that and come back and tell us. All right then, so I'm going to say goodbye and hand it over to Sonny. Thank you so much for listening. And I'm going to see you next week. Yeah,
thank you so much for listening to the It's a Drama podcast. We hope to see you next week. And if you did enjoy what you listened to, make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And if you don't, you're a bad person. Okay, I'm not going to say, don't say that, Sonny. No, all right, well, thank you so much for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week on the It's a Drama podcast.
Okay.
I've been Sonny.
And I've been Liz.
And we've been the It's a Drama podcast. All right, bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining us this week on the podcast. We have loved having you here.
If you guys could subscribe to us on iTunes and leave us a 5-star review.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
That would be absolutely amazing. And make sure to share the podcast with your friends.
And if you'd like to hop over to the blog, find one of the little boxes that ask you to drop your email. I will send you a newsletter every week letting you know when we've released our new podcast. That will go straight into your inbox. So it's www.itsadrama.com.
All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you next week for another podcast.
Look forward to it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.